Finish poll 0 o'clock 23. Edit. Blank.
Hello everyone, this is Arush, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate a new math accessibility feature that was introduced in Microsoft Office Word 2019. So basically what it does is, like, as we all know, maths hasn't been good with screen readers for JAWS, NVDA, whatever you like. It's still not great, but with this new feature that Microsoft introduced, it's improved a lot, and I've been using this feature for quite a while now, and I thought I would introduce it with everybody else because I thought that you all would find it useful as well. So here I'm going to demonstrate some of the things it can do. So I'll try a couple equations, try to write some symbols, and so let's start. So let's start with some basic symbols. So let's try the alpha symbol. So I pressed Alt equals to open the equation field in Microsoft Word. So you open Word. I have JAWS screen reader running right now since NVDA isn't doing great with this. It doesn't read it as good as it should, and I feel JAWS is doing better. So let me start with this. So I pressed Alt equals to open the equation field in Word, and now I'll type backslash A-L-P-H-A.
Space autocorrect italic small alpha.
Autocorrect italic small alpha. So you probably heard that, and that's what it says because it changed that the letters that we typed. We actually typed the spelling of alpha with a backslash. So yeah, you type backslash with any symbol, like, to change it, and then when you press space, it changes it to the symbol that it should be. So that's what it says: autocorrect italic small alpha. So now when I hit enter, and then when I try to read this,
Graphic. Blank.
alpha. The graphics, in case anybody's curious, is basically
Selected graphic.
it says that because this is a separate equation field, so that's how it's gonna show up even in the document. So it's gonna be like in a separate field of its own, the equation or the symbol or whatever you want to put in there. So that's why it says graphic, because it's not a part of the text that you have written in Word. It's inserting a separate field with the equation or the symbol or whatever you have written.
Graphic.
So let me try. Let's try some other things. Let's try some equations. Okay, let's see.
Backslash A-L-P-A space autocorrect italic small alpha plus.
As you can probably guess, if I want to type beta
Space backslash E-E-T-A space autocorrect italic small beta
equals now I'll type minus
dash selected graphic
B
slash A enter graphic cap over graphic cap over graphic alpha plus beta equals minus
oops,
graphic
okay,
alpha plus beta equals minus select blank
that kind of
all equals selected graphic
yeah, it did that because I think I did something wrong with the mouse. Let me try this again.
backslash A-L-P-A space autocorrect italic small alpha plus backslash E-E-T-A space autocorrect italic small beta equals dash B slash A enter graphic alpha plus beta equals minus cap over graphic
Yeah, there we go. And it also reads whether they're uppercase or lowercase. So I actually accidentally capitalized the B and not the A, I think. So it's really specific, and that's what I like. It's informative as well as specific, and so it's reading the symbols as well as the fraction. It says cap B over A because the B is capital, and then upon, like, that's in the numerator, and then A is in the denominator. So now let's try some let's try some like equations. So let's see, x
plus y equals 3.
Now
Enter.
enter.
Graphic cap x plus cap y equals 3 graphic blank.
Yeah, so cap x plus cap y is equals to 3. That's what it says.
Select blank.
Okay.
All equals selected graphic.
So let's try some other things. Okay, let's try let's try some squares, or let's see. Okay, so if I say
X caret 2 plus y caret 3 equals Z.
Yeah.
Enter.
I'm not really paying attention to whether these are capital or not, but that's usually something you should do while typing an equation. But here I'm just.
Graphic x squared plus y cubed equals Z. Graphic. Blank.
So yeah, x squared plus y cubed is equals to z. That's what it
Selected
says
blank.
if you use if you do the power of 2 or
All
3.
equals.
But if you want to go higher,
All equals selected. Graphic.
let's say
X. Caret 2 plus y. Caret 3 equals Z. Caret 4 space.
let's
Enter.
try that.
Graphic x squared plus y cubed equals cap Z to the fourth. Graphic. Blank.
Z
Selected
to the
graphic. Blank.
fourth. So x squared is x power 2, x cubed is x power 3, and after that you have x fourth, x fifth, whatever. After that's how it says
Blank.
the powers. So something that you should note is here we've just been using common sense, right? We've just been writing these symbols, especially by using common sense, and basically just writing for alpha we just type backslash ALPHA, for beta we type backslash BETA. Similarly for theta you have backslash THETA. But some of these symbols are not that straightforward. The reason being, I think, because the spelling is a bit too long. So I think if like while writing, if you write the whole thing, which I honestly prefer, but yeah, I do get that some people might find that inconvenient having to write the whole thing. So you can't always go by common sense. Sometimes what you have to do is when you open the equation field, all these symbols show up, and with the symbols, with the facility to like directly insert them, which I don't prefer because it's accessible, sort of accessible, but it's complicated. So, but it also now includes a separate column where it says, where it speaks the symbol, whatever, if you want to insert it, as well as what you can type in a bracket. It says, for example, alpha. So if you if you insert that, it'll just insert the alpha symbol, but in the bracket it'll say backslash ALPHA. Similarly with all the symbols, it does say that. So that's where you can find out what symbols what you have to type to obtain whatever symbol you like. And then basically what I do is, after I do that, I just memorize them. And that's what I've been doing as I come across new symbols while I study different concepts. So let's try to demonstrate that. For example, if I want to write square root of 2, if I just go by my common sense and instinct, I'll say
backslash SQUAEROT space 2.
Right, but it didn't say autocorrect. But let's try reading it regardless.
Graphic backslash graphic SQUAEROT 2 graphic.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Now, what you actually have to type to obtain the square root symbol is
backslash
SQRT, of course, with a backslash, and then 2.
Enter. Graphic square root of 2 graphic.
Square root of 2. There you go. That's what you have to do. So most of the symbols do work with, like, they're pretty straightforward when it comes to this. But the thing is that if the square root is, it's a pretty big word, and if you just type the entire thing, that's probably why they have these short forms. So, for example, if I want to type something related to physics, let's say the spelling is really small, right? It's easy to write, so that's why they have put it in, like, it's straightforward. But so we've done a couple symbols. Now let's try some equations and see how good it is with those. So let's say
4 left bracket 2 x underline subgraphic plus 5 left parent 4 y dash 8 right parent slash left parent 2 x plus 1 right parent right bracket.
Right.
Enter.
Let's read this.
Graphic 4 open bracket 2x plus 5 open parent 4 cap y minus 8 close parent over denominator 2 cap x plus 1 end denominator close bracket graphic blank.
So a couple things to note here. One, it's so if you just heard that properly, it reads these equations really well. Like, I'm sure that all those of you who've been using maths, like who've been doing maths on a computer, you know that like when we write equations, especially when they're big ones with like 5, 6 brackets, there's a challenge to sort of understand, at least for me, because when I'm writing questions, I'm just paying attention to writing the questions. I'm not paying attention to what they are. It's, like, so when I'm actually solving them, I have to read them, what I've written, a couple times to understand it, even if I've written it myself. And it's like, so it's kind of, that problem is really solved when you use this, because you just saw how specific it is, and it says what you want to really hear. Because when you write them normally, like here, let me compare it to,
Left bracket.
let's say,
4.
okay, I forgot what I wrote, but I'll just
Left parent.
do a rough.
X plus 2. Right parent. Slash. Left parent. 3. X. Dash 1. Right parent.
It was
Right
something
bracket.
like
Enter.
this, so
Graphic open bracket 4 open parent cap X plus 2. Close parent over denominator. 3 cap X minus 1 and denominator. Close bracket graphic.
yeah, oops, I wrote it in the equation field. Let's
Select
try
blank,
that
blank,
again. Here,
All equals.
make sure I'm out of the field.
All space menu. X even menu.
Yeah.
Blank space. Space
Let's
blank
try
blank.
this. Okay.
Left bracket. 2. 2. 4. Left parent. 2. X dash 1. Right parent. Slash. Left parent. 1. 0. X dash 8. Right parent.
Yeah,
Right bracket.
I'm
Enter.
just-
Left bracket 4 left parent. X dash 1 right parent. Slash left parent. X dash 8 right parent. Right bracket. Blank. Select
Yeah.
blank blank.
So you see, it's really different from if you write it in the equation field. It just says what you write, which makes sense because that's what the screen reader should do, right? But the problem is when you're doing maths, you have to apply extra bit of logic to that to first make sense of what you've written, of what the question is, and then begin to solve it. But here, it does that bit of work for you because you don't have to apply any extra logic to know what it's saying, because it actually says the way it should say a math equation. So you understand it in, like, at least I do understand it in one go, so I can just get on and start opening the brackets and start solving the question. So it's really convenient, and I like it. So that was a demonstration of the maths accessibility feature that Microsoft has introduced, and to be honest, I'm really impressed with the work that they've put into it, because maths has been a an accessibility challenge for us for a long time, and I've been finding this feature really useful, and I hope that it works for you guys as well, and it works out, and you're able to do maths much better as I am. So do note before I end the video, Microsoft Word 2019, the one that was recently launched, with JAWS, preferably 2020, the latest one. At least that's what I've tested it with. So yeah, I hope this video was useful for you, and thanks for listening.
Recording 01314.